Hello, hello, hello. Grüezi, bonjour, salut. CT Luna here. Welcome to the Audio Labs. Throughout the month of July, I'm running a little experiment. I know so many of you love to listen to your books, and since I'm getting ready to eventually record and publish the official audiobook for Brown Beyond Borders, Emerging into Golden Multidimensionality, I wanted to practice out loud with you first. So, every single day this month, I'm pulling up a chair, reading a few pages of my memoir right here. Actually, that's a lie. I'm batch reading them today because I know I'm going to be very busy next week on weekdays. So if you're on the free list, these daily drops will stay open for just a few days before they head into the archives for my paid subscribers. So make sure you keep up. And if you ever miss a session or want to unlock the whole archive to listen at your own pace, you can upgrade to a paid subscription at any time. But today we're stepping into chapter 13, which I notice in my copy it was erroneously published as 12. So it's actually the second chapter 12, which is actually chapter 13. So my apologize for that error. And the next edition of this book will be corrected. Anyway, on that little note, let's start. Freedom, no matter where. Chapter 13. Freedom, a word that promises liberation and boundless possibility. For me, freedom was a caged bird, its wings clipped by circumstance. Growing up as a biracial immigrant in the United States, I equated freedom with external factors, national and cultural identities and how they fit in or didn't with the prevailing culture where I grew up. Racial identities and how social boundaries prevented me from feeling like I belonged, and my drive for academic and professional success and how my dependency on external validation kept me away. They were tangible factors, things I yearned for and fought for, believing it would unlock the doors to my real self, true self. In the early chapters of this book, I shared glimpses of this limited understanding, the frustration of navigating a world that didn't quite fit me, the longing to belong, the constant pressure to conform, these anecdotes like being called a black sheep by other neighborhood children, learning that my father was detained by immigration when he was on his way to his job in Washington, or when I felt like a token hire at Lenny's boutique PR firm. All these events shaped my earlier understanding of freedom, which was deeply intertwined with external factors such as race, social acceptance, and systemic barriers. As I journeyed through life, I began to realize that true freedom wasn't about changing the world around me, but about transforming the world within. It was about breaking free from the shackles of my own limiting beliefs, the ones that whispered I wasn't enough, that I didn't belong. Redefining freedom became an emotional, mental, and spiritual journey. It was about embracing my identity, my heritage, and my unique voice, regardless of what society expected from me, of me. It was about shedding the labels and stereotypes that tried to confine me and stepping into my magic. As each chapter examines one of these four dimensions identity, freedom, emotional freedom, mental freedom, and spiritual freedom I hope you too are inspired to embark on your journey of self discovery. I know the struggle is real. We navigate a world that often tries to tell us who we are and who we should be. But within us lies a powerful truth. We are architects. We are the architects of our freedom. We have the power to break free from the limitations imposed by others and define our destinies. So, and as we enter this new chapter, remember this. Let me read that again. So, as we enter this new chapter, remember this freedom is not a destination, freedom is a journey. It is a continuous process of self discovery and growth. It's about shedding the masks and stepping into your authentic self unapologetically and with courage. So, let's get to the heart of transformation self awareness. It's where a life of authenticity, empowerment, and ultimately inner freedom originates. Eckhart Tolle, in his profound book, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment, reminds us that the ego, our identification with our thoughts and emotions, is the source of our suffering. He explains that the ego is a false self identity formed based on our thoughts, emotions, and past experiences, which creates a sense of separation and suffering. As a result, we trap ourselves in a cycle of negativity, self doubt, and fear. Remember when I used to be called Black Sheep in Springfield, Virginia? That experience, fueled by the ego's need for acceptance and belonging, planted seeds of self doubt and insecurity in the early years of my life in the United States. Only after many years of self reflection and inner work did I learn to recognize the ego's presence in my thoughts and its influence on my self perception. To transcend the ego, Tolle advocates for mindfulness and being present in the now. By focusing on the present moment, we can observe the ego's constant stream of thoughts and emotions and choose a different state of mind, one of inner peace and liberation. He posits that by becoming aware of our thought patterns and emotional triggers, we can begin to release the ego and access the present moment, a space of pure awareness and peace. When I read his book a few years ago, I could draw on two examples from my past where releasing the grip of my egoic mind served me well. First, there was the time when I was driving on the Kahekili Highway to avoid the bushfire. My mind and body were intensely focused on each inch of the road and the 3 feet of void illuminated by my car's headlights ahead of me. This alertness silenced the ego's mind shattering ways, and I had entered the stillness. Even though my eyes were open, I was in a deep meditative state while driving. Then, years later, when I was looking for a communications job in Switzerland, I spent 10 to 15 minutes every day focusing on all the things I appreciated at the air conditioning company. Those minutes were also like a meditation, a bubble of presence where there was no room for the ego to be active, to complain, to compare, or to blame. Ianla Vanzant, in her powerful book, Forgiveness 21 Days to Forgive Everyone for Everything, offers another key to unlocking inner freedom: self love. She challenges us to confront our past hurts and forgive those who have wronged us, not for their sake, but for our own. By releasing the burdens of pain, self doubt, resentment, and anger, we create space for acceptance, self compassion, and self love. But forgiveness can be tough. In her book, Van Zant describes a falling out with her brother who struggled throughout his adulthood with drug and alcohol addiction. Quote, after many years of late night telephone calls that ended with one or both of us screaming at the top of our lungs, I put my foot down. I told my brother he was not welcome to call me if he was not sane and sober. It took a while and a great deal of self forgiveness for me to recognize that I too was an addict. I didn't drink or do drugs, but I was addicted to external validation. With time, I recognized that I had judged him for the very things I found unacceptable about myself. Nothing in life causes more pain and suffering than the judgments we hold about and against others and ourselves. End quote. The act of self forgiveness allows us to see ourselves, maybe for the first time. It's a journey of self discovery that leads us to a place of deep self belief and unshakable confidence. But in the words of Van Zant herself, quote, there are some aspects of personal healing and spiritual development that are simply exhausting. Forgiving yourself is one of them, end quote. As we embark on this path of self awareness, we can draw inspiration from the wisdom of Eckhart Tolle and the transformative power of forgiveness championed by Ian Van Sant. Cultivating self awareness feels like an ever expanding journey, a continuous process of observation, reflection, and growth. By becoming aware of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, we gain the power to choose how we respond to life's challenges. This awareness empowers us to challenge the self doubt that holds us back and cultivate the self belief that propels us forward. Equipped with confidence, we can choose to be empowered by our experiences rather than defined by them. The journey to inner freedom begins with a single step: the conscious choice to become aware of who we truly are. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a commitment to self love, and the rewards are immeasurable: a life of authenticity, purpose, and the unshakable confidence that comes from knowing our true worth. My parents' journeys across continents planted the seeds of wanderlust in me. My Trinidadian father and Swiss mother had contributed their flavors to my upbringing. I held a passport before I could even walk, and by the age of 4, I had already called 3 countries home. The world, in all its complexity and beauty, was not just a concept in a textbook, but a living, breathing reality waiting to be explored. Growing up in Washington, D.C., a city teeming with embassies and international organizations, further fueled my curiosity about the world beyond my immediate surroundings. My international school education, with its emphasis on languages and cultural understanding, nurtured a global mindset. The world felt like a realm of boundless opportunities, and I was eager to learn from its diverse offerings. The transition from high school to university marked a pivotal moment in my journey. Initially, I chose an American liberal arts college, seeking a continuation of the familiar. Ironically, the experience was jarring. The move from Washington to Poughkeepsie, New York was a culture shock. I felt more isolated and othered than ever before. Black to the white students around me, and not Black to the Black students around me. I longed for a space where my differentness was not an anomaly, but a shared experience. So I left that school after 1 semester and set my sights on a much smaller international university in Switzerland. The choice was not about academics. It was about finding a space where I could fully embrace my multicultural identity. In Switzerland, surrounded by students from all corners of the globe, I felt a sense of belonging that had previously eluded me. My education in navigating diverse cultures continued both inside and outside the classroom as I learned Italian and immersed myself in life in Lugano. This experience solidified my desire to engage with the world through language and cultural exploration. After 2 years, I returned to the United States to complete my degree in French language and literature, driven by a vision of a future where my linguistic skills would be my passport to the world. My original post graduation plans didn't unfold as envisioned, but the desire to explore and connect with different cultures remained constant. With my roots spread across continents and my heart yearning for connection, I knew that my path to freedom lay in embracing opportunities beyond borders. The world, multifaceted and rich with nuance, called to me. It was a call to explore, to learn, to grow, and to discover the full expression of my potential as a US educated, biracial immigrant woman. As I ventured into this global landscape, I soon learned that true freedom requires more than just physical movement. It demands an internal exploration of one's own identity, motivations, and an understanding of where a sense of belonging originates. The challenges of navigating a world that wasn't always ready to embrace my multifaceted self came to a head during my time in Switzerland with the rise of the Durchsetzungsinitiative referendum. The bill forced me to confront the fragility of freedom in the face of prejudice and discrimination. And that is where we're stopping for today. If you have a question about the book, the writing process, or anything we covered in today's segment, drop it in the comments of this post. I might just answer yours on a future episode. I'm really glad I get to share this unedited process with you. Look out for the next picture, the next pages in your inbox tomorrow morning. And if you know someone who would connect with this part of the journey, please share this post with them while it's still open to the public. And if you want to support this audio experiment and my writing as I start drafting book 2, consider becoming a paid subscriber to unlock everything. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.